what I can do, to, I suppose, to whatever the cast is. It doesn't matter how big or small my part is. But again, like you said, purposeful is a good word. That's probably what I look for in the character.
It's more than satisfying. It almost validated us enough to even retire that day. I'm really
I didn't know the story, I didn't know the character, nothing. But I knew Neeraj sir, and I wanted to work with him again. And I knew that it's going to be something fantastic.
Did you learn any Bengali over the shoot?
Yeah.
मत बोलना,
I
मत बोलना।
understand Bengali.
मत
ना।
बोलना,
you
नहीं
understand?
लेकिन जो मैं बोलता हूँ वो मैं बोल नहीं पाऊंगा क्योंकि वो रंजीत वाली बंगा है तो वो नहीं बोलना मुझे.
we felt complete as actors.
Yeah,
कि उस
yeah.
दिन समझ में आया इतने सालों से. I was 9 years old when I got on stage for the first time.
You know that building is, I think, the building stretches like a kilometer.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hi, my name is Monica, and you may have known that a new anthology series has dropped, and that is Khakhee, the Bengal Chapter. And today we have the star cast with us. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
I just said that the same day and they're just laughing because हमारी तो pronunciation भी नहीं आती है. But 24 hours के ऊपर हो गया. What are we feeling? What are we hearing?
Top of the world.
Okay, great. I'm still sitting nervous, but good things. We've only heard good things.
Yeah.
We've learned this extremely interesting term from ma'am. It's called next-sighted.
Excited.
We're feeling
Nervous and
Nervous and
excited.
excited.
I'm excited.
We are next-sighted.
Oh, I've never used this before.
That's because I've coined it.
Oh.
Now you can
Trademark
use it.
Please trademark it already. This is a heavy show. I'm going to talk about something like usually when these are crime dramas in general that are very heavy on politics as well. Sometimes it's so hyper masculine. Women-driven stories are sort of like tokenistic. How do you ensure that that is not the case, but the character Nivedita is more purposeful? Sorry,
Actually,
heavy ho gaya
it
starting
is-
se.
I mean, it is the writer's vision. It is Neeraj's vision, I suppose, of how he wanted to tell the story. And I think it is also very close to what reality is. This is how the real world is. I don't know how many women you'll find in such milieus, in such, changing the course or making that kind of difference. So I think it's very close to reality in that sense. Somebody was just saying that a reviewer has written that Nivedita's character is the most human. She brings the most human quality to the story. So I feel wherever woman is, I feel like the emotional vulnerability or her sort of dabbling with her personal life, her emotional world, and the professional world, and the men in that professional world, and trying to make a place for herself. I mean, we still are in the Indian society. I mean, we can't possibly think that this is, somewhere else so that's why I feel it's very real in that sense, that we still have to work harder to make a place for ourselves. And so that, I think that is why it's so nuanced, it is so beautiful. And that is why it's a unique story to tell, that there is that woman who's still hanging on to everything, with all her heart and life and breath and everything, to still make it no matter what it takes out of her, which is the beauty, to see in again, like a very male-dominated sort of world. Yeah.
Sagar and Rajiv? Ranjit. Oh my God. Okay. I'm so sorry. Sagar and Ranjit in general, I feel like they sort of have camaraderie. It's very brotherhood is there. There's what Veeru types hai. But I feel like that's first from the very beginning, I felt like there's some sense of betrayal that's looming from the very beginning. Something is going to happen that's going to tear them apart. How do you build that dynamic between you two? Did you all know each other from before? And obviously you all are actors, so sometimes it's easier to do that. But how do you anchor that moment? Because I've only watched 4 episodes. Anything can happen at this point. But how do you build that camaraderie on screen to show that these two are do and die situation for each other?
Thankfully, it just happened organically. Initially, when the script has come to us and both of us were on a similar page and similar thought process back then, because when we got to know the script, we understood that the chemistry between Sagar and Ranjit is really, really important for both the characters to work. And at that point of time, the concern was who's playing Sagar for me, and for him it was who's playing Ranjit.
Correct.
And when we met each other with that concern. And 15 minutes after being with each other,
Two very concerned people met each
two
other.
very concerned people got relaxed in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And we both were like, yaar, and we shared this also the same day in 15 minutes. Yaar, I was kind of worried about this. And he was like, so was I. But now I'm relaxed. And he was like, so am I. So it started like that. And then because we had workshops, we had dialect training, accent training, and character building and all of that. For around 2 months, we were
easily. At
part
least
of,
2 months.
yeah, part of the workshop. And before that, we discussed this that, for our characters to work, it's very important that the chemistry, the friendship should make sense. And after that, we never discussed that. And after that, it just kept happening organically, while we were rehearsing the scenes, while we were creating that world for each other and amongst us. So that happened organically. By the time we reached on the set, it was not just Sagar and Ranjit, it was also Ritwik and Aadil. We developed that kind of chemistry. And that definitely helped us in front of the camera as well. And it's one of the rarest thing to happen, as actors.
Yeah.
And it's magic. And I'm glad that I met him. And I met not just a great human being, but also a fantastic actor who thinks overall for the scene, for the emotion, for the graph, for the story, and everything. And we had a similar approach towards the story, towards the characters, and that just worked out brilliantly for both of us.
And you're absolutely right, because it could just be our craft,
Yeah.
Like we could just be two actors who are good at their jobs, who are portraying to be friends, and that's absolutely possible. But what's not possible is to find moments where he's looking there and not at me.
Yeah.
I'm looking there and not at him. And at the same point, when somebody said something, we both look at each other without knowing we're going to look at each other.
Yeah.
Give an expression and
Yeah.
come back. That you can't orchestrate that.
Yeah.
Either it has to be choreographed by a director.
Yeah.
कि मुझे ये moment चाहिए या paper पे लिखा होना चाहिए. अगर वो organically हो रहा है out of nowhere, and that excites the makers to even capture it, for that you just have to leave it to the universe, and the universe will give you a relationship like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. Because since you were talking about synergies, and I was talking to Jeet sir, he said that everyone was so secure on set, and because he's come from Bengali cinema, he's worked somewhere else. He says this is his Hindi OTT debut, but I said that you are a bigger star on set.
Correct.
Anybody who sets that, and you've also worked in cinema for so long. Anybody who's seen you on set sets that environment all together, right? Did you all feel the same way? Because everyone's synergy was together, and because everyone was secure, and that's why, because it's an ensemble story as well. It's not easy to tackle.
Yeah.
So many long format, बहुत सारी चीजें गड़बड़ हो सकती हैं.
Correct. Yeah.
Did you all feel the same
Most
way?
definitely.
Fully.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah. No, but actually, you're absolutely right. Everybody was so secure.
Yeah.
And I think that also comes from the kind of confidence that the writers and the director has given to the actor.
Yeah.
That you are written in such a way that you are secure. There's nobody who's going to take the shine away
Correct.
from you. So I feel it's, and I guess they've cast people like that.
Yeah.
Who are very secure, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think that's also, see, once this show was announced already, and obviously we kind of knew that this is an anthology story altogether. Sometimes what happens is, if it's a multi-arc season already, you kind of know that there's also a frustration कि आपका character ही develop नहीं हो पाया ज़्यादा.
Yeah.
That also comes from even the director feels that you've had a multi-season show already, so you kind of know that there's so much to explore. Once you know कि an anthology है, you can have that many moments all together, and when it's an ensemble, everyone gets to shine.
Yeah.
And I've been seeing that in the first 4 episodes. I feel there's so much to say, parallel stories bhi chal rahi hai and everything. What is that one, once you were reading the script, what is that one moment that hooked you ki I think I should do this for each one of you?
Sorry, I didn't get
What
that.
is that one moment while you were reading the script altogether? This is something that I want to do. This is a project that is a...
Yeah, honestly, for me, this is the second time I'm working with Neeraj sir. I did Special Ops 1.5 before that. And when I got a call and when I was told that my project hai, Khakee Bengal Chapter hai, thinking of you, I didn't know the story I didn't know the character, nothing, but I knew Neeraj sir, and I wanted to work with him again. And I knew that it's going to be something fantastic. And I was right. Khakee, the brand after Bihar chapter, that was in place. The story was in place. Then I read the character. When I asked for the first time, script padhne se pehle, can you tell me about the character a little? So I was told that he's a mad guy. That's what I was told. I was like, interesting.
तू
Let's
पागल
go. हाँ, पागल है. So बोला, ऐसा बम जिसका पिन निकला हुआ है.
Oh my God.
So for me, it was that. Yeah, I knew that I'm doing it. After that, I got to know the story. So it was like that for me.
I mean, for me, the hook was, Nivedita's emotional, journey. What she's going deep within and still having to be the leader of the opposition, having the strength to go through something like that. For me, that personal journey was very, very interesting. That definitely hooked me on because that gives you, then you're playing two different people. The minute she steps into the house, she's completely different emotionally, every which way. And the minute she steps out, she's having to be someone else. So for me, I thought that was beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, similarly as Aadil, I said yes first and then read the script.
Yeah.
So, and more than saying yes, I'm just glad that they said yes to me.
Yeah.
Neeraj sir, Sheetal sir, Tusharda and Devatmada, who made this show. And for them to envision me in a part like this itself is a privilege because it rarely happens that a creator wants to break a mold that the world wants to put you in. And thank God for creators like Neeraj sir who envision actors this way. So हाँ, तो पहले उन्होंने मुझे हाँ कहा, फिर मैंने उनको हाँ कहा, फिर हमने स्क्रिप्ट पढ़ी. काफी बात. Killing me. I'm okay, I'm good, thank you.
Did you all know that before that Prasenjit and Jeet were going to be a part of it?
I was born watching their films, not all of their films, but Bombada has been working since late 80s. I was born in early 90s, so I've seen all his work. I've seen Jeetda's work, I've seen Opuda's work, Opuda Shashwata Chatterjee. I've seen Porumda's work. I've seen Shubhashi's Das work, who also plays the chief minister in the show. So I've grown up watching. I belong to a Bengali family, so I've grown up watching their work completely. But what about you guys?
Yeah, I can talk about the experience that I had working with these guys. I think these guys are fantastic people.
True.
I mean, not just great actors, not just the stars, the biggest stars of Bengal, but also such great human, such strong brotherly energy. Jita, Bumbada, they had. I went to Calcutta for the second time. The first time I went there only for a day, so I don't count that at all. And it just didn't feel like an alien city to me because of these guys, because they just welcomed us like that. They were always there to help us. Even when it was not really needed, they would be there. For example, if the scene is between me and him and it's my shot, so he doesn't really need to be there and perform, but they would do that so that, it's a kind of, I take, there's a give and take for the actor as well. The great people, it was amazing to work with this cast, and not just them, everybody who's been involved. And like how we were discussing that everyone was so secured by what they were approaching. The entire energy of this project was very, very positive. Since day one, since the time we started prepping, it was just positive and nothing else. And it's continuing to be so.
Did you learn any Bengali over the shoot?
Yeah.
मत बोलना,
I
मत बोलना.
understand Bengali.
मत बोलना.
you
नहीं,
understand?
लेकिन जो मैं बोलता हूँ वो मैं बोल नहीं पाऊंगा क्योंकि वो रंजीत वाली बात है तो वो नहीं बोलना मुझे.
मैं literally, obviously I was picking words and all. Obviously थोड़ा time लग जाएगा, but I think I'll pick on certain words altogether. In the last couple of years, I feel like anything that I watch lingers for a while if I've liked a project altogether. Has there been something that has stayed with you after you've watched or complete a movie or television show or a show or something like that?
There's so many.
I saw Black Warrant recently.
Everyone has been talking about that.
Yeah, and I think it's a great show. I think the actors have performed really well. I think it's shot beautifully.
It's very
I think the
cerebral.
writing is fantastic. It's in the recent times is one of the best shows that I have seen.
I love the pace of that. In
Yeah.
fact, even I'm watching that. And I especially like a series which has, because I just show so much control in writing, like he said, and characters. Yeah, I think recently that's the one. I'm watching Dupahiya.
Okay.
Okay, that'll. Okay, but anyway, so yeah, Black Warrant definitely. I'm gonna start watching Adolescence.
Oh my God.
Oh
I
yeah.
watched the
Yeah,
first
you
I have to
finished
watch
it?
Sorry, I can't swear.
Ranjit.
Hey.
Behave yourself.
Oh my God, but oh my God, it's
don't say
so,
anything.
so good, so good.
Yeah, I've just been
It has
reading reviews
terrified
about
me.
it. Don't.
That
Yeah.
kid has
So
terrified me.
I'm trying to prepare myself. That's the
Yeah.
reason why I started watching the
Yeah.
Paya a little bit, but then I want to come back to
Yeah.
Adolescence. Yeah, because that's the
Yeah.
the one. Yeah, yeah.
Ritwik?
I saw a film last year, which was apparently made in a very string budget, and then I saw the film, and I was just blown. Ki, how did the makers pull this off? And the magic of creating cinema really came back and hit me to my heart after watching that film. That film's called Manjumal Boys. It's a Malayalam film, and it's magic.
Oh my God, it was so good. Also, it's like one of the few movies that I'd watched last year, and that stayed for a very,
Very
long
long
time.
time,
It's such great writing
Yeah.
altogether.
Yeah.
I get it. Since this story talks about, I think sheds light on Bengal in general. I feel like a lot of people get introduced to a lot of people would not know these actors before. ये पहली बार देख रहे होंगे. What do you think that one moment in the show that very much stayed with you? Because obviously you cannot reveal a lot
Yeah.
of these things because people are still going to watch in the weekend. But what is that one moment of your character that felt like, oh my God, this is something that has stayed with me, and I think this is where the audience was also see that.
You know, the way the characters are written, I mean, if I talk about my character, it's written so well. I mean, he's a gangster, he's a goon, he's a crazy guy, but there are so many layering to it. There's emotion, there's hurt, there are morals, twisted though, but still morals, and things like that. Playing around with that, getting those layering in place and feeling those layering was magical. And then there's this, I can't talk about the scene, but it's a pre-climax scene.
The final showdown.
Yeah, which happened between
This is
the
my
two
answer
of us.
too. Okay, I was going to get to the same point.
Yeah.
So
That's-
Aadil representing Ritwik and Aadil.
Yes. So for both of us, that's a magic scene. I mean, for whatever little work that I've done as an actor, I have not been that satisfied ever in any of the work that I have done. It was just something else. It just, I mean, we'll later talk about it when I would not need to control myself, and
Yeah.
I'll give you details about it. And I want to speak about that scene in length because that was something, that experience will stay with me for my life.
Yeah.
It was like that.
Same.
You haven't gone to that episode yet.
मैं देखूंगी आज रात में.
Once you go, you'll know. Yeah.
और मैं सच बताऊं, and this is, I mean, it's going to sound a little off, but very honestly, सच में, whoever is giving us a compliment about that scene, it feels really nice. It feels really, really nice, and they're saying very, very, क्या कहते हैं, observant things about that scene, which also feels extremely nice. But what he and I felt that day on floor is, I don't know, there are no words to describe it.
Unbelievable.
It's a very creative satisfaction, right?
Oh, yes.
To get to play that.
It's more than satisfying. It almost validated us enough to even retire that day. I'm really exaggerating.
new, yeah, what are you talking
No, I'm saying I'm fully exaggerating it, but I don't know how
Yeah.
to put it
Yeah.
Yeah.
in words so that you understand that day we felt complete as actors.
Yeah.
कि उस दिन समझ में आया इतने सालों से. I was 9 years old when I got on stage for the first time, and then I did theatre forever, and then OTT happened and films happened and so on and so forth. But it is that day is when I understood what acting really means and what kind of an effect it can have on a person. So I don't know how to explain it.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
ma'am, you've
amazing.
had great experience, obviously, but has that over the years you've chosen very limited work altogether, and it's more has to do with character-driven a performance rather than being just a a part of the movie. But it has to be purposeful. Has that been conscious decision by you?
To some extent, yes, I think so. I think all the way. I think that has been a conscious decision. It's just that you're putting it in so many words. But I think for me, it's always been about what I can do, to, I suppose, to whatever the cast is. It doesn't matter how big or small my part is. But again, like you said, purposeful is a good word. You know, that's probably what I look for in the character. And yeah, beyond that, of course, the makers, that's everything. I mean, then it doesn't matter how long or short your this thing is, because you know that the director or the writer has enough love for the characters, for the film or the story, to do enough for each one of them, you know. So then you trust and you leave it. Like, this is in their hands, you know. So yeah, I think that's that. And sometimes you just take a chance, you know. It doesn't always work out. It's not like everything that I've done, I've been like, wow, this is it. But yeah, that's what you try.
Right.
Yeah.
But did you draw any inspiration from real life activists or like politicians or something for the character?
I did watch some, you know, like speeches given by certain, you know, political leaders, like women, of course. But I think what they had in mind was also that she's also restrained. She's not over the top. She's not dramatic. She's not going to become like a caricature of, you know. So that was a very clear thing that Devatma knew, that this is not how I want it to be. It can't go into that zone at all. And it is not the theatrical, it can't get so theatrical in any case. So that they were very clear of. So keeping within that, yeah, I did, you know, do this. And she's also a certain kind of person off the stage.
Correct.
So you can't like suddenly switch and become, you know, go completely crazy. So that sense of reality also needed to stay in place. So.
One of the things that I loved is the visual storytelling. I feel like the frames have been so good. I love the green tones, the blue tones. It just excites me altogether. And
Shout out to Tushar Khanti.
Because I genuinely enjoy those kind of frames altogether. One of the things I also see, the decaying structures, I feel the paras and everything have a subtext. It also tells very much the story of the political climate and what's happening, the rotten system altogether. And I feel like that seamlessly blends. As a viewer, that's what I am taking away. Now that you guys have been watching, and obviously you were watching throughout the night, like, have you been seeing something that probably shoot ke time nahi dikh raha tha, and I'm like, oh my god.
Interesting.
Well, firstly, thank you for being so observant. Thank you. That was
I obsessed with frames altogether. My Twitter is randomly, if I see a show and I feel like this frame, the way this is positioned, I always screenshot and share that.
I wish Tusharda was here to hear this.
This is so lovely to
obsession
hear
with frames altogether.
We'll convey this to the man,
Yes,
to the man,
please
Tusharda, who did that.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Sorry, I didn't cut you. Yeah.
Hanji.
I think while we were being in those kind of locations, which are almost unexplored, because when you talk about Calcutta, there's a certain shade of Calcutta which is otherwise shown in films and shows and all. This world, this side of Calcutta has not been explored as much. So we were there and we were amazed ourselves. Especially me, because I went there in that extended period of time for the first time. So I was amazed myself, but I was not watching it on the monitor per se, so I didn't know how was it being shot. So when I was, you're absolutely right. When I was watching the show, I was going like, wow, what is going on? How it is captured like that? I mean, the Howrah Bridge looks so beautiful, and shout out to the entire location selection and everything. My house, the view
Ranjit's
from
house.
my house, Ranjit's house, it was insane. Howrah has not been shown like that ever.
To get to the house, there's a trek inside a building.
You know, that building is, I think, the building stretches like a kilometer.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's that.
It's like shaped in a
That's how it
weird
one
L
building.
kind of a thing.
Yeah. And on the first floor, the stretch is so long that it's almost like a road, and there are hawkers like on the side of
This is
on the first
inside a
floor.
building.
Wow.
And you
Inside a
forget that you're on a
the
building
first
on the first
floor.
floor when you're walking, because the
जो
stretch
यहाँ
is so
पे
long.
बॉम्बे में चौल कहते हैं उस तरीके के क्या कहते हैं compartmentalization was there, but it just went on forever,
Yeah.
and there would
And
be
the
a
hawkers
staircase
inside.
that goes
Yeah,
somewhere
hawkers
else.
inside, like how they have on the side of the streets.
Ah.
And then you forget that you're on the first floor of a
Oh my
building. It feels like you're
God.
walking on some road.
Yeah, because it's so
Building
big.
like
It's
that.
a kilometer, my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
And his house was on the
Wow.
terrace of an establishment like this.
Yeah, in the corner,
So
facing
you all had to
Howrah.
walk all the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This, I think, is taken from my terrace. This,
Yeah, this photo, yeah.
yeah,
Interesting.
crazy.
Wow.
And it's shot so beautifully. And you're absolutely right. The color grading, everything is just.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's
I'm
the
just
Shar.
like
No, please,
obsessed
please.
with this.
Just
It deserves all of this.
amazing.
Yeah.
Series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what, I feel like the DOP has added so much
Yeah.
character. Tushar has added is also a co-director on this.
Yeah.
He's added so much character because sometimes, you subconsciously get affected by, like you said, tones and things and the whole grittiness, the grimness, the dirty, the whole, you literally start feeling and smelling the place. And
Yeah.
that's him, smelling the place, the characters, everything. So yeah, definitely. This is beyond what we shoot because everything else is obviously done post and, all of that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
I
you
hope I
so
did
much.
not bore you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Not at all.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
it's
much and
lovely.
congratulations. I
Thank
think
you.
people are loving it. I think weekend mein aur log dekhenge. So
Thank
I'm
you.
hoping and I'll complete it tonight only.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much and
Thank
all the
you.
very best.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much.
much.